Ron Lancaster a year ago. And I mean, this is a question mark. Can Tommy Henry, game in, game out, play this sophisticated kind of coverage and not make mistakes?
First and goal from the 5. Drummond fights his way close to the goal line and gets tripped up down at the 1. And we've seen Robert Drummond running the ball in this game more than you'll see him in an entire game most of the time.
You know, when you get a look like this, watch Mike Kiselak, the center. They get the double team at the focal point on Jed Roberts there. They blow Roberts out of the hole, and, you know, then Drummond has to make his own way. He can't block everybody down there, but Robert Drummond, who has 11 touchdowns total so far this year, the league leader, as he was to finish the season a year ago, and not surprising he gets the bulk of the work down here.
Second and goal from the 1. Flutie gives it off to Drummond, going up and over and didn't get there. Melvin Hunter does a great job sneaking in behind to grab Robert Drummond. It'll be third and goal from the 1.
Well, the key for Hunter was just absolute penetration from the outside, and it almost looks like he cheats a little bit. Here he is, and watch how he slides down the line of scrimmage and sneaks in behind Drummond and gets him from the outside. And you know, Pinball Clemens just couldn't make the block, but he kind of cheated up. Didn't look like he gave a yard and got away with it.
Third and goal from the 1. Edmonton has allowed the fewest touchdowns in the league this year. One more shot. They run the option to Drummond. He's bottled up. He laterals it back. Loose ball. Mike Saunders has it for Toronto. Now Saunders throws a pass to the end zone. Incomplete. I'll tell you what, Doug Flutie is down at the 5 on a play where the Argos improvise. But the Argos are turned away, and Flutie is shaken up. No score between Edmonton and Toronto. Back to Skydome right after this. Back at Skydome, the ball is at the 1, and the reason it's at the 1 is the Edmonton Eskimos turned the Argos away on third and goal. Lee.
And earlier they had trouble defending the option, but when you don't have to worry about the pass, sometimes you can come up and play that option a little differently and certainly more aggressively. And in a minute, we're going to have a look at that great goal line stand that they made.
On first down, McManus in the end zone, almost intercepted. Johnny Harris should have 2 interceptions by now. Ken Benson got his hand on that first, but the pass falls incomplete.
Well, Ken Benson, you know, throws right into the arms right there, and I mean that should be a pick. And sometimes you wonder why guys get chosen to play defense. No hands.
Exactly.
Because Ken Benson had certainly an interception and maybe a touchdown.
Now on 2nd and 10 from the 1, McManus to the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. McManus under pressure, gets it away, and almost picked off again. He was looking there for Robert Gordon, who was covered step for step by Marcelo Simmons, and Edmonton will be forced to punt.
Well, Toronto really pulling out all the stops against Danny McManus. Backed up, they come with the safety blitz, and you know, you're counting on your defensive backs to snug up on the coverage as Marcelo Simmons did. There's Lester Smith right there coming. Not enough people to protect. Danny McManus knows it, has to get rid of the football. But, you know, in this situation backed up, I sure like Bill Bradley's call, the defensive coordinator of the Argonauts, to just bring everybody at McManus and try and get a break.
Whoa, bad snap to Sean Fleming. Actually, the snap was fine, a bad reception, and Fleming kicks it. Caught by Harris at the 10. There'll be no yards against Edmonton. It's a disaster for the Eskimos. Fleming would have been much better off giving up 2.
Yeah, that's really a mental error, and I think Sean Fleming now knows the error that he committed, and Ron Lancaster, I'm sure we'll have a talk with him because, you know, it was a good snap. Nothing wrong with the snap. The rookie Fairway with a good snap, but Fleming just lost his concentration not only there, but now, because this is a ball that definitely should not have been kicked. Give up the 2. Heck, we're only in the first quarter to give up a potential touchdown as he did here.
Well, now Harris with the punt return, the no yards call, moves it down just outside the 6, and Sean Fleming has a discussion with Ron Lancaster on his way off. So the Argos, who were just here a minute ago, now having first and goal at the 6 after being turned away on 3 tries from the 5 last time.
And that's really an inexcusable play by Sean Fleming. I mean, he's a veteran. It's not a rookie where he should be excited and didn't know what to do. He should make that play. Give up the 2.
First down, Toronto. Flutie back in, looking to the end zone. Paul Mazzani, touchdown! What a grab by Mazzotti, up and over he goes for the score, and the Argos take quick advantage of the Edmonton Eskimos special teams mistake.
And Edmonton will argue that he might have been out of bounds, but he caught the ball in the field of play and was pushed out of bounds, and his momentum took him out. But this is a heck of a catch, and pretty interesting throw by Flutie. He almost throws it behind Mazzotti on purpose, knowing that the defensive back Tavis Reed cannot locate the football, and Mazzotti is able to see it all the way and adjust to it, and that is a heck of a touchdown catch. So the Argonauts capitalize quickly on a mistake by Sean Fleming.
Third touchdown catch of the year for Paul Mazzotti, only his second in the last 6 games. And the Toronto Argonauts have the first points of this game, a touchdown, to take a 7-0 lead with 3 minutes to play in the first quarter.
At the top of your screen, watch the throw. It's behind Malcolm Frank. And Mazzotti adjusts because Frank can never get his head turned around to locate the football, and that's not a criticism. That's a very difficult play for a corner to make. You almost have to look into Mazzotti's eyes, and when he moves for the football, you do too. But that play happened so quickly that Frank couldn't adjust, and Mazzotti made the terrific adjustment. And boy, there are the numbers, and I don't know, 1,500 yards or so to catch DK Smith for all time. Number 2's not bad.
Yeah, no kidding. Number 2's not bad at all. And while we have a moment, let's take you back to the play on the goal line previously, Leaf, and what a play by the Edmonton defense.
Well, it really was, and this is where they stopped him on third down. You stop it here. I mean, here's Mal Hunter, here's Glenn Rogers. They're man on man, and now you can defense this because you're not worried about the pass with that kind of tight formation. Maybe next time down there, I think you're going to see Doug Flutie fake that and throw, but now the fun starts.
Yeah, Mike Saunders, who I don't believe is left-handed, with the throw of the end zone.
I hope he's not left-handed.
If he is, he's got some explaining to do.
Well, we're practicing one or the other.
Vanderjagt now to kick it off as the Argos have taken the lead. Here's the gizmo, Henry Williams from the 23-yard line. And the Giz just dives straight ahead out to the 40 he goes before the stop is made there by Noah Cantor, a 17-yard return. And now this Edmonton offense, which came into the league leading in so many key categories, trails this tough Toronto defense.
And already you see what Danny McManus did a week ago, a pretty flawless performance with no interceptions, and I think that's been the big difference in his game this year. Gord, throughout his career, Danny McManus has thrown 103 interceptions and 84 touchdown passes. Not the ratio you want, but this year he's thrown more touchdowns and interceptions, and I think that's the reason for his success.
McManus under pressure now, steps up. He's got Don Blair up around the 50. That should be good for an Edmonton first down. And you take out the 5 interception performance that Danny McManus put up, and he's having a great year, but you can't do that. And Don Blair last week had his best receiving game as an Eskimo. What's interesting to note is he has scored a CFL touchdown before, but not catching the ball. He did it on a punt return last year against Winnipeg, so Blair has yet to see the ball on offense in the end zone.
It's only a matter of time.
Well, he's a good one.
He is. He's a great one. He was a good one at Calgary. I love watching him play, and saw him in the Vanier Cup where he had a tremendous performance here in Toronto for the Dinosaurs.
And he
tried his luck in the NFL, just couldn't crack it with Chicago Bears, and then of course Edmonton very happy to have him come back, and I'm sure he learned a lot when he was with the Bears in that kind of a system.
First down for the Eskimos to the 51-yard line. McManus, quick drop, has it there to Robert Gordon. He's got the catch down to the 51-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 8, and the Edmonton Eskimos have crossed midfield for the first time in this game.
Yes, they have, and I think the defensive philosophy is pretty interesting what they're doing. Bobby Gordon's a pretty dangerous receiver, but Bill Bradley has decided tonight to blitz far more in this first quarter than I've seen them do this season. And he's asking his defensive backs rather to come up and challenge guys like Bobby Gordon, and it's a bit of a different philosophy we're seeing from Toronto, but that's good. You need to change from week to week to give the offensive coordinators a different look.
2nd and 2, Tony Burst fights his way inside the 50 down to the 47. He'll have a first down for the Edmonton Eskimos. And of course, a difference between what Toronto's doing this week and what Winnipeg did last week, which was leave its defensive backs to the mercy of the Edmonton Eskimos, and that's how people like Darren Flutie get 15 catches and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but I also think this is a different secondary that Edmonton's facing tonight. I mean, Toronto's, this is a good secondary. They're starting 5 imports. You got Lester Smith in the middle that really anchors that. And, you know, I like Bill Bradley's style. Give Edmonton a different look tonight.
Now McManus going over the top. He has a man, and he has a touchdown. Don Blair, and guess what? That's his first receiving touchdown in the CFL.
And Danny McManus played a game with Donald Smith on the corner. Don Smith and Adrian Smith, the 2 Toronto corners, they like to look into the backfield at the quarterback, and sometimes they disregard the receiver, and Donald Smith kind of bit. Danny McManus indicated early, looked like he was going to throw it in the flat. See that? The quick little pump that froze Don Smith, and Don Blair snuck in behind him. And when you look into the backfield, Les Brown back in the studio will tell you, sometimes you could get burned if you want to cheat and try and jump those hooks. Donald Smith got burned, and Don Blair got his first CFL touchdown receiving.
47 yards he goes, and the Edmonton Eskimos come back just like that.
How did you know that? You just talked about that he was going to get his first touchdown soon.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
Well, it was good play, and I'll tell you what, they caught Don Smith. I love it. They caught him cheating, peeking into that backfield, and Danny McManus, you're going to see, watch just a little subtle pump right now out to the flat, and that was just enough, and he caught Don Smith cheating, and he got nailed.
And you think about Don Blair, this is a guy who made a name for himself in football before he ever played in the Canadian Football League. He won the Heck Crichton Trophy as the most outstanding player in Canadian university football, and he was the Vanier Cup most valuable player in the 1995 game, which was one of the great Vanier Cups you'll ever see.
And there's receivers in university football that come along every once in a while. Tyrone Williams, when he played for Western, dominated CIAU football. This fellow right here, Don Blair, there was not a defensive back in the country that could cover him.
And this is a guy who moves out to wide receiver this week. Robert Gordon moves inside because they felt that with Eddie Brown out of the lineup this week, they really needed some deep speed outside.
And I've said it for years, I think Bobby Gordon, although he doesn't like it and won't admit it, is a better slot back than a wide receiver. I think this makes their offense better doing that.
Sean Fleming kicks it off deep to Mike Clemens, and the pinball coming up from the 2. And he'll get out as far as the 25-yard line before he's stopped there by Mike Sellers. A 22-yard return, and Donald Smith, broken hand and all.
He's mad.
Getting involved there. 4 plays, 70 yards. Don Blair caps it off with the 47-yard pass and run touchdown to tie this game at 7. And this game is featured what you might have expected between these two. Lots of good defense, but solid offensive play as well. And they're picking up right where they left off in November in Hamilton. Doug Flutie, if you were with us earlier, shaken up a little bit 2 series ago, but he appears to be all right. And his numbers would indicate that as well. Flutie from the shotgun on first down. He's going deep. Once Daryl Mitchell intercepted by Glenn Rogers. And now Rogers coming back the other way. Rogers gets up to the 52-yard line of the Edmonton Eskimos, who will get the ball right back, and Flutie screaming at referee George Black, and I'm not sure what he's mad about.
Late hit on the interception. Somebody took a shot at him, but Glenn Rogers, perfect position. This is a play where you have tremendous confidence in your ability to close on the football, because there's no question Daryl Mitchell is open early. But Rogers kind of gambled there and was able to close on it, and he becomes the receiver and makes a nice catch. Daryl Mitchell's got to learn that when he's not going to catch that football, he's got to come back and break it up.
4th interception of the year for Glenn Rogers. First down Edmonton from the 52. They give it off to Eric Blunt, and once again Andrew Stewart gets all over him. A gain of 2 out to midfield, and now we know why Flutie's mad.
Well, whenever there's an interception, I'll tell you, there's a defensive player start looking for the quarterback, and in this case, it's Derek McCready.
Whoa.
That was a clip. It should have been called. It wasn't. My, oh, my. Doug Flutie has a reason to be upset with that.
Derek McCready just slyly grinning on the sidelines.
He said, I got him.
2nd and 8 now, Edmonton from the shotgun. McManus, lots of time. Now he's slinging it deep, looking for Robert Gordon. And Gordon had to restart his route, working on Marcelo Simmons. The pass falls incomplete. Edmonton will have to punt. That's the final play of the opening quarter. The Edmonton Eskimos and Toronto Argonauts each take advantage of early opportunities. This game tied at 7. Now we'll send you back to our CFL Live Control Center.
CFL Live at the Quarter is brought to you by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads.
Welcome back, CFL Live at the Quarter. Hey, you'd expect it from the two best teams in the league. A little bit of everything. Bit of offense, great defense. Special teams a big factor so far in this football game. Defensively, specifically, Lance, so far in this game, both sides playing very strong.
Well, you know what? I might have stuck my foot in my mouth at the beginning of the show when I said that Edmonton's defense wasn't going to perform as good without Benny Goods. And now the only team in the CFL that I've known to stop Toronto on a goal line stance. You know, with shutting down Drummond from the 1 yard line is something huge. And now you see that Glenn Rogers Jr. picks off Doug Flutie, which we've seen that happen now 2 weeks in a row. Him trying to throw the deep ball and getting it picked off. Can he throw the deep ball?
Well, I don't know if he can throw the deep ball anymore, but I will still predict that before this game is over, you're going to see Danny McManus throw an interception. That's really going to determine the outcome of this game.
You want him to. Really.
No, it's just that he has not faced this kind of defense yet this year. And so he had a good game last week. He didn't throw any interceptions last week. That was against Winnipeg. Against Toronto, it's a different story. And there should have been 3 interceptions in that quarter for the Argonauts.
Wait a minute, if I could,
right in his hand.
We'd have a heck of a party in here.
Hey, we got to talk about special teams. It's quite obvious what happened with Sean Fleming. I wished he had it back, but I could just see you cringe there as that play unfolded.
Right. I mean, Sean, this is the first year that Sean Fleming's done both duties, and really, when you get a bad snap in the end zone like that, you should just give up the 2 points, and it ends up they give him a touchdown because of that turnover. So he's having a tough time making the adjustment. He's last in the league with a 38-yard average punting, and he's last in net punting with 34 yards. So, you know, he's making a tough adjustment this year.
Well, that led to the Argos touchdown, but it looks like after strong D in the first quarter, the offenses look ready to open up a little bit more. Tied at 7. Back to Scotland we go, guys.
All right, thank you, Rod. Bubba Bilovich, the coach, and Les Brown, the coach, leave. He's a practice coach for Hamilton now.
I want to congratulate Les. I truly mean this. I think it's long overdue that he gets into coaching. He's got a wealth of knowledge on how to play defensive back and how to work against receivers, and I really think he's going to help the Ticats secondary. I wish him all the best.
Well, I'll tell you what, Edmonton's special teams coaching might want to talk to Sean Fleming, because that, in golf vernacular, was a shank.
That made you shank.
He hit that sideways.
Do you know what? We were watching Sean Fleming down in the warm-up tonight, and he did not have a good warm-up. And sometimes that's applicable to what happens in a game. Sometimes it's not. He did not have a great warm-up punting the football, and you know, see his eyes. He's peeking downfield at the rush. And
he knew as soon as he hit it. It's a 2-yard punt.
Should have gambled on 3rd down.
You might think about it now. You should have retreated 40 yards and given up the safety. First down from the 53. Flutie over the middle. Daryl Mitchell has the catch. A first down to the Edmonton 40. Derek Beattie makes the stop, and Mitchell has been close a couple of times. Finally has a grab.
Well, the good news is here's Daryl Mitchell, and the man-to-man Edmonton either plays this match zone coverage or they play man-to-man. Toronto catches the man-to-man here. This is simple. Work him. He's got to come back to the quarterback a little bit harder. He still makes the catch, but he still has to work on as a young receiver. When he gets separation from a DB, work back to Doug Flutie. I'll tell you what, you take a lot less hits if you can do that.
And that's always good.
It's very good.
That comes from the master, Leif Pedersen. Flutie gets it out there for Mike Clemens, and pinball forced out of bounds down the 32-yard line. And with that catch, pinball has tied Dick Shadow's Argo team record for most career receptions. And now with the next catch, the pinball will break it.
Quite an accomplishment for Mike Clemens, and you know, between he and Robert Drummond, they really have carried this offense this year with their patch catching abilities, and you have to give him a lot of credit how he's changed his game in the last 2 seasons. Worked so hard last year to be an accomplished slot back, and that's really what he is in this offense. And of course this year leading the league in receptions so far, and that's the fellow that he's going to surpass.
The handoff goes to Robert Drummond trying the left side. Drummond gets down to about the 27-yard line, and that'll be a first down for the Argos. Well, you know, there were those who said 2 or 3 years ago, Leaf, that the pinball was done.
And I was one of those that didn't say he was done, but was very worried about the longevity of his career at that point. But boy, oh boy, he has recycled himself. But he's done it with intelligence. He's learned how to play a different position and made an enormous contribution to this team. Now he's lined up as a wide receiver out there.
From the shotgun, Flutie, lots of time. Over the middle, he's got Mike Saunders wide open. Saunders, touchdown! 27 yards, and Mike Saunders, who's also learning a new position, has his second touchdown catch of the year.
And the premise of the Edmonton defense is not to allow receivers to get across the field on crossing routes. And look what happens when you do. Mike Saunders is going to come from the left of your screen here. Now there's the chase. They're chasing this way, but nobody chases Saunders coming that way. And he is wide open. Sometimes you get lucky. You create confusion with crossing in formations. They created a lot of confusion. Blocked just enough by Daryl Mitchell to allow Saunders to get into the end zone.
Mike Vanderjagt for the point after, and it is good, but just barely. Mike Saunders with the touchdown catch. The Argos regain the lead with 12:35 to play in the first half.
Far bigger than any battles you ever had on a tennis court. 2 sets of surgery to remove brain tumor. How are you feeling right now, and what's your schedule?
Well, I feel really good right now. I've already started back into training. I've only been out of the hospital for 2 months, and I'm planning on my first tournament back in November at the Bell Challenge in Quebec City. So it'll be nice to come back and make my comeback in Canada.
All Canadian tennis fans very anxious to get you back. Now, you're here at a CFL game. You've got a little bit of an affinity to the Edmonton Eskimos, don't you?
Well, the first game I ever saw was an Edmonton Eskimo game when I was 13 living in Edmonton. So yeah, you know, I'm rooting for them.
Helen, best wishes on your recovery. And I guess you're going to enjoy some tennis while you're in Toronto as well. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Helen Kellecy, who has been known to put a few forehands past Leif Pettersson in her day.
We have played somewhat, and Hurricane Helen will fight her problems as she fought everybody else in the tennis court, and she's a winner.
Here's the gizmo from the 15-yard line, and he gets out to about the 38, a 23-yard kickoff return. Well, the Edmonton Eskimos see Mike Saunders wide open through the middle. He goes 27 yards for the touchdown as Toronto goes 4 plays and 56 yards after the 2-yard punt by Edmonton's Sean Fleming.
You know, Gord, you and I talked in the opening about Doug Flutie maybe having to incorporate a few more people into the offense, and he's done that. Mike Saunders has caught a touchdown in 2 passes. Paul Mazzotti's caught a touchdown in the first quarter tonight. So I think slowly we're seeing an indication that Doug Flutie wants to have everybody involved and a little bit more than he has in the past.
First down, Danny McManus quickly over the middle. Darren Flutie has his first catch of the game, and Flutie fighting his way out to the 44-yard line. And what a week Darren Flutie had last week. 15 catches against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers for 231 yards and 2 touchdowns, tied George McGowan's club record and only 1 off the CFL record held by Terry Greer and Brian Wiggins.
Yeah, it's quite a game. You must be coming from Edmonton. You must remember George McGowan.
Oh, yeah, number 76.
He was a terrific receiver, and I'm almost glad that he didn't break George's record, that he just tied it.
Now McManus up and throwing. That is incomplete, and McManus had all kinds of problems there. Rob Waldrop and Andrew Stewart were all over him, and Edmonton will once again be forced to punt.
Well, one of the things you love about Toronto's defense, you get Rob Waldrop on the nose and Andrew Stewart. I mean, these guys come hard every single play, and they're rewarded. They beat the blocks, and they get the pressure on Danny McManus.
Well, I'll tell you what, Andrew Stewart's having some kind of day, stuffing the run and getting in on the passer. And this Toronto defense forces Edmonton once again to punt, and Sean Fleming's adventures continue. Punts of 6 and 2 yards.
He's just happy to get that one away.
Pinball from the 35. Flags are down, and so is Mike Clements as he gets out to the 43. A 7-yard return of a 30-yard punt. 14-7 the Argos lead with 11 minutes to play in the first half.